In part one, we showed you how to make a pocket knife case with an open top. In part two here, we will show you how to make one with a protective flap. To make a case for our knife that will have a flap to go over the top to protect it, we will use the same basic pattern, but we will put a mark right there. As you see, this will be for a snap, and we will then trace around the pattern the same as before. The big difference is going to be up here at the top. In order to accommodate a belt loop in the back, which I've cut here, and it's cut of a size that will give us at least a 2-inch belt, we will need to extend this about another inch. So there are several ways we can do that. The easiest way is to just take a ruler and extend that line, do it on both sides, and then we can design the tip for our flap. I'll use the same one we drew earlier. And now we're ready to cut out our piece. Next, I will punch a hole so that we can set the male portion of our snap. Now the next thing we will do, we will take our edge beveler and we will edge bevel all the edges where there's not going to be any stitching. We will edge them and we will slick them just like we did on the other one. In this case, of course, we will do both the flesh side and the grain side. And we will also do the belt loop. And now we will dampen and we will slick all of these edges. Next, I will punch some holes in my belt loop. As you see here, these we will use for our stitching. And we'll punch holes in both the top and the bottom, about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Now we will locate our piece about where we're going to put it on the back of our case, line it up with the flap, and we will make a mark on either end, and we'll use that then to punch holes in the case. Corresponding amount of holes. And now we will stitch this in this position. This may look odd, but we are going to fold this back, so we will stitch it in with the flesh side up here. Now that we have stitched this in place, as you see, we'll fold it over and come down to here, and then we will take our awl and we'll mark these holes again, and then we will take our thonging chisel and do as we did before. And now we're ready to stitch this one in place. Next, we will set the male portion of our snap on the front, as you see here. We will not set the other part of the snap at this time. As we did before, we will apply cement to the outer edge about 1/4 inch, as you see me doing here. We will now allow this to dry until it gets tacky. As we did before, we will now stick the pieces together. Now, it may be necessary for you to dampen your leather some to get this done. And we'll now make our grooves front and back as we did before. For more information on stitching, please take a look at our video called Saddle Stitching. We have now stitched the edge, and later on we will go back and finish the edge just like we did with the other case. And if you'd like more information on stitching, please consult our video on saddle stitching. Now, I have dampened this case slightly, and we'll push the knife in to where we get a good fit, good tight fit. Now we can fold the flap over, and we can make a mark to where we will put our snap. And now we will punch our hole in the proper place. And now we will set the female half of the snap. I'll put the knife back in, and we will see we have a really, really good and durable knife case. To learn a whole lot more about case making for knives and many other items, I would suggest you look into the Volume 1 of The Art of Making Leather Cases by Al Stolman. Well, this is George Hurst again. I want to thank you for spending this time with me today, and I hope you get a lot of enjoyment and satisfaction out of making knife cases.